Inside this container is perhaps the scariest, most insane beast of a creature I've ever owned and showed on this channel. It's hiding inside this piece of paper towel. Let's try to remove the paper towel so that you can see it. Okay. How to do this? This is going to be hard. Do you guys see its shadow? Crazy beast. My heart was beating loudly in my ears as I tried to remove the paper towel or coax it out somehow. Whatever happened, I knew I could not allow the venomous creature to bite me, and I needed to be extremely careful because they strike and move very fast. And there it was, crawling out of hiding, hungry, and in hunting mode, as these beasts usually do at this time of the night. This is a giant centipede. It was a stunning creature, though menacing, with its shiny exoskeleton, teal head, brownish body, and coral legs, measuring 6 inches in length. You won't believe this, but I found this beast in my home. A crazy story I'll tell you about later. But as critter-loving as we are on this channel, I knew I wanted to keep it. Or at least for a while. And most of all, watch it eat. The centipede suddenly began to move and decided it finally wanted off the paper towel and slithered with its many legs onto the container's floor, where it decided to rest for another moment. But what ensued from this moment on was one of the most gruesome and terrifying sights I've ever seen. Guys, just a warning. This video may contain disturbing scenes of predation. But welcome to the AntsCanada Ant Channel. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC family. Enjoy. The centipede began to move. Now before we feed this thing, I gotta tell you how it ended up in my house. I opened a box containing a piece of furniture I ordered, which was shipped to me from a place about an hour plane ride away from where I live. And that is when this thing crawled out of the box along with the furniture. They're native to my country, and oddly enough, they sometimes find their way into homes, especially when seeking refuge from a rainstorm. Anyway, I decided I would keep it and feed it. I have tarantulas and snakes, so I usually am not squeamish about feeding predatory creatures. But with this centipede, there was just something different. They totally creep me out. I'm not sure if it's all the legs, or the modified front legs / fangs, or its very skin-like sides. But centipedes, especially giant ones like this one, really scare me. But as scared as I was, my curiosity was just as great. I wanted to feed this beast and watch it eat. What should we name the centipede, guys? Leave your name suggestions in the comments, and your AC Senate and I will choose our top 5 favorites for all of us to vote on in a future video. Also, any centipede experts out there able to identify her exact species? I think she may be Scolopendra subspinipes, but I'm unsure. I'd also love to know if this is a male or a female. It eventually curled up to rest. Alright, the time has come, guys. I was certain this centipede was hungry. I carefully opened the container and dropped in a live roach. Let's watch. The roach stood still for a long time. It finally moved, trying to right itself off its back, but then chose to lay there completely still. Was it playing dead? I mean, if I were this roach, I think I'd be paralyzed from fear as well. Suddenly, the centipede began to move, resuming its hunt. I held my breath and watched the scene unfold. Its antennae waved in front of it, smelling. It probably could smell the roach. And then... bam! Dead. The strike was so fast, I wasn't able to catch it on camera. But the centipede curled around the roach and delivered its lethal bite. The sight sent shivers all over my body. The centipede carried its prey as it tried to find a suitable location to continue eating its prey, while it died from the venom. The centipede began to eat the roach, starting at its head. I wasn't sure how I felt. Don't you guys feel it too? There's something a bit more gruesome watching a giant centipede feed than, say, a tarantula, snake, or even a swarm of ants. There was something so alien-looking and monstrous about these centipedes that just gave me the chills. I watched the scene wide-eyed as the centipede munched away. So a friend of mine who is very familiar with these centipedes, who says he grew up with them running around his yard as a kid, told me they get much bigger than this, up to a foot long. That is crazy to me. If I were to keep it, I surely needed to make sure its setup was appropriate and secure so it wouldn't escape. There has only been one death ever reported from a giant centipede, but supposedly their bite is typically not lethal. Either way, I was not intending to be bitten by this thing ever. I knew I had to be extremely careful at all times around it. Now, I thought all this was pretty gruesome to watch, but I had no idea that what was going to happen next would be crazier. I placed the paper towel back into the container so that the centipede could eat in peace. As the centipede continued to feed, my curiosity got the best of me. With all of those legs, I wondered what would happen if another cockroach came along. Would the centipede capture it even while working on this roach? I knew tarantulas can capture and eat multiple prey items if given the chance, and if hungry enough. How would a centipede react if another prey item came along? That is when I decided to drop in a second cockroach. The moment it touched the floor, the centipede tail end whipped across and grabbed the roach. Whoa! Now it looked like the roach was keeping still. Or had the centipede delivered venom from one of its hind legs? I didn't think centipedes were capable of that. Or the roach, like the first one, was deciding to play dead. The centipede continued to munch away at its first roach catch while holding on to the second roach with its hind legs. This was crazy. I couldn't believe how in control it was over all its legs to manipulate prey. I guess I just assumed that its front legs were specialized at the hunting skills, while the rest of the legs were more for walking. But after seeing this, that assumption proved to be wrong. This was intense, and I didn't wish to be that cockroach at all. Could you imagine being stuck in this position, knowing you were up next to become a meal? I continued to watch the scene wide-eyed to see what would happen next. Finally, the roach decided to slowly slip away from the grip of the centipede's hind legs. The centipede wasn't going to let this happen. It went in and delivered a lethal injection of venom from its sharp modified front legs/fangs. It then continued to finish off the first roach, as the new one began to die. This was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Watching predators like the centipede eat always instilled in me a weird mix of fear and sympathy for the prey, but most of all, respect. Whenever I watched animals eating other animals, for me it was always a reminder that nature, though gruesome and scary at times, was definitely something to be respected. I was reminded as the centipede ate that predators like this centipede were out not to bite everything around it, but to feed on prey, which in this case were insects and things like mice, amphibians, reptiles, and small birds. They had a very important purpose in the ecosystems they were from. They helped control the populations of their prey animals. When the centipede was finally finished with its first roach, it moved on to consume the second roach, again starting at its head. The roach seemed to be slightly still alive as it wriggled its legs, as its head was being chewed into. I was in total shock and awe at the sight. Hey, look at that sort of hole thingy on the centipede's side. I guess that was a breathing hole. These creatures apparently breathe through holes on the sides of their body. As scary as all of this was, it was indeed still very interesting to watch and examine this creature. I've never in my life owned a giant centipede, and though I've always been interested in them, I've never had the chance to see one up close and feeding like this. I felt lucky to be able to have that opportunity now and share the experience with all of you guys. I do want to build this centipede a beautiful and appropriate terrarium. Give her a lush lair in which she can continue to live and hunt. I can tell she likes to hide under things during the day and emerge to hunt at night. I'll be sure to keep this behavior in mind while building her terrarium. Or I can simply release her outside so she can continue to hunt all the prey items she likes out in my yard. What do you guys think? Should we keep her? As scary as this centipede is, a weird part of me actually loves it. And in a way, I was starting to find it cute. Okay, what is happening to me? Anyway, I hope you guys weren't too grossed out and found this episode interesting. I'll be sure to update you guys on the terrarium I will be building for her. So be sure to subscribe to my channel to keep up with this giant centipede and the other ants and creatures I keep on this channel. Thank you all for watching and supporting the ants. And now, giant centipede. It's ant and centipede love forever.